I was a big fanboy of PC, but this month I have switched from PC to MacBook Pro M1. This is a 14-inch model, just for records. Before I bought this MacBook Pro, I haven't used any MacBook products. I mean, no iMacs, no MacBook Pros. I have used Apple phones or iPads, but I mean, computer was a different thing for me, so I was always sporting PC. As I mentioned, I switched to MacBook Pro this month, and it was a totally different experience for me. Just to give you an idea, I'm a content creator, so I edit videos on my computer. Because of that, I was always thinking PC is the best option for me, because then I can have a desktop and then I can just upgrade my system all the time. That's what I was doing for a long period of time, over 20 years now, and it came to a point that, I mean, Apple products started to catch my eye really much, because M1 chip was a really revolutionary product, and after I checked the reviews about the MacBook Pro and the computers which has M1 chip inside in them, I have kind of started to think, is the PC really the best option for me? Before I buy the MacBook Pro, I was always thinking how I can now switch from the PC to MacBook. I mean, I haven't used any Apple computers before, so I don't know how they're working. I was, having so many question marks in my head. That's why I didn't sell my PC. It's actually over there. My PC is not old, by the way. I mean, it's old, but I mean, when I bought that computer, I wanted that it will last long, so I bought almost the best possible specs that time. So it's Intel i7 8700, and it has 8GB graphic cards and 32GB of RAM, so it's quite okay PC at this point. But when I was editing my videos for my content, I started to have some troubles while editing, so I started to use proxies long time ago already. But after I got this MacBook Pro, I got really surprised. My previous video actually is completely edited by this MacBook Pro, and you can check it, it's over here. And I have done a lot of things on that video, and there was different kind of footage, and I have done quite many crop ins, some graphics I have edited, and texts and all kind of stuff. And believe it or not, I didn't use any proxies because I wanted to test this computer to its limits. It was really surprising. I was already using...
I'm not sure about that.
Okay. I call her computer, that's why it's getting excited. Ignore her. Anyway, I was already using proxies with my computer for a long period of time, and I just told you the specs of the computer, and I wasn't able to edit the videos that I wanted with it, so that's why I switched to use the proxies with the computer, I mean the PC. And when I started to edit almost a similar video, or same video I would say, because I try to add as much as stuff to my videos to make them look good, so that's why I'm always pushing my own limits. So that wasn't working with my PC because I had to use the proxies. It didn't matter at some points that I was using proxies because I was having problems anyway with the PC, but this machine has surprised me really much. Apple done really good job with Apple Silicon. M1 chips are really good. I have been checking M1 computers since they have started to release them. For example, M1 Mini and also MacBook Air. And I was nearly gonna pull the trigger with the Mini. Then they released the MacBook Air, and then I was gonna buy that one, and then there came the 13-inch MacBook Pro. Then I was like, okay, that's the one. Then they have finally released the 14-inch and 16-inch Pro models. I finally pulled the trigger with the MacBook Pro 14-inch base model, And I mean, zero regrets. As a long-time PC user, I wasn't expecting this for sure. I mean, I kind of regret every second that I have wasted to not buy the M1 computers, because I mean, it's crazy how good they are, to be honest. I wish I would be able to somehow say that, hey, PC is still the best. I will switch back to PC because, you know, this is not good. But I'm afraid I cannot say that. Some PC fanboys like I do used to be before might get angry and drop some comments down below, and you know, we might have some trouble. But I mean, I'm sorry, but I don't see as, you know, I don't think I'm going back to PC, because after I got this MacBook Pro, I used my PC just to transfer the files which was inside in it to my MacBook Pro. And that's the only thing what I have done with my PC after I got this. I mean, it's not a hype, seriously, this thing's really good. I'm waiting for my NAS system to come. After that, I think I will just take my hard disks from my PC and then it's gonna go to different owner. This is going to be enough for me for a long period of time, that's for sure. I went with the 14-inch model, and if you're wondering, because I was really thinking a lot when I was getting the MacBook Pro 14-inch, should I get the 16 or 14? I mean, which one I need? And then I started to think, hey, it's a notebook, right? I mean, at the end of the day, I want to carry this to, you know, places when I'm traveling or when I'm on the go, if I want to edit videos, you know, on a cafe or you know, you got the idea. At that point, I was like, okay, I need the 14-inch for sure, because for me, after 14-inch, it's not portable anymore, because it starts to get heavy, it starts to get big, and I don't want to carry that much, you know, weight or that big notebook with me when I'm traveling around. That's why I went with the 14-inch. And you might be asking already the question, well, hey, what about the screen? It's so small. Well, actually, it's not. I was checking in the shop 14-inch and the 16-inch MacBook Pros side by side, and I was using, you know, one computer, and then I was using the 14-inch, I was using the 16-inch and 14-inch, 16-inch, 14-inch, 16-inch. Then I was like, okay, 14-inch, because I was checking the screens, and the bigger screen wasn't actually that big, but the computer was big. I mean, it's so bulky and it gets a little bit heavy. It's not so heavy you might think, but if you carry it all day on your backpack, it's gonna hurt your back, that's for sure. I knew that if I would get the 16-inch, I'm not gonna take that with me every day. And there is no way I was gonna carry it every day. I would be lazy. I would be like, okay, that's heavy, I'm not taking it today. I don't need it, I don't need it, I don't need this day, I don't need that day. It will be just excuse for me. But 14-inch, I mean, it's so easy to carry around for me. You might be wondering, hey, what about the big screen? I mean, isn't it nicer? It's nicer. If it's really big, it's nicer. So I can always, when I'm at home, attach my, you know, computer screen, I mean, LCD screen, to this MacBook Pro, and then I will have way much more bigger screen, and I can use two screens at the same time. I mean, it doesn't make sense to get the 16-inch. I mean, it didn't make sense for me, at least, to get the 16-inch. That's why I picked the 14-inch. You can always buy with the amount of the money that you're paying for the 16-inch. With that money, you can buy a brand new, quite big screen, which you can attach your MacBook 14-inch. That made more sense for me, at least. I mean, I already have two screens, so you got the idea. I think I will stick with the 14-inch for a long period of time. I'm not planning to switch to 16-inch, but if you are thinking, you know, you need a big, really bigger screen while you're traveling, and if you don't care about the size and the weight, then of course it would make sense. But for me, I think if I want to carry this around, it's ideal that it's smaller. As I was mentioning, I was really worried about, how am I gonna use the MacBook Pro? I have no idea about how the computer works. The computer itself is totally different story, blah, blah, blah. I checked like 2-3 videos from the internet how to use this touch mousepad, and they were really informative. And then, it was actually really simple than I thought it is. So it's super easy to use. They made it so user-friendly. Don't worry if you're planning to switch from the PC to MacBook Pro or any kind of Apple product. It's super easy to use. And also they done amazing job with this, computer, that it's so quiet. There is no fan noise at all. There's fans in this computer, but I haven't heard them once. And I'm editing, by the way, 4K videos with this, and they are 10-bit footage, and computer is barely getting warm, and there is no fan noise. That's like crazy in my opinion, because I used PC notebooks before. They would start shouting and my legs would burn. I'm 100% sure, but zero sounds, no heat, I would say. Crazy. I know I sound like, a seller. I'm like, oh, this is so good. Apple is not paying me to make this video. And as I was saying, I was a fanboy of PC. If somebody would come to me and say that, hey, MacBook Pro, I would say, PC. That I was that kind of guy. And now, if somebody would come and say to me PC, I would be like, madness. And also Battery Life has been already, really good with this computer. I know I didn't talk any technical details about the MacBook Pro, but as you understood already, I'm not the guy for sure, because if you want to see those kind of technical detail guys, I think there is way much more experienced people on the internet, on the YouTube, to make content about the technical specs of the MacBook Pro. I will highly suggest you to go and check those ones. This was just my, honest opinion about, MacBook Pro as a PC user, and I have been using PCs for, long time. I have built my own PCs. I was buying, all the pieces by myself and putting them together, and you got the idea. But this has been an amazing experience for me, and I just wanted to share this experience with you. I hope this video was at least a little bit, helpful for you to make a decision about the MacBook Pro. And if you like the video and if you want to see this kind of content, because I'm gonna make more content about the MacBook Pro for sure, so please crush the like button. It helps the channel a lot. And again, if you want to see this kind of content, please consider subscribing, and I will see you guys in the next one. Fingers broken, by the way.